Couple of them. Number one, if you're listening on podcast, I'll help you out here. But the top 5 toughest places to play, allegedly, from EA Sports. Number 1, Kyle Field at Texas A&M. Number 2, Bryant-Denny. Number 3, Tiger Stadium, LSU. Number 4, Ohio State, Ohio Stadium. And number 5, Stanford Stadium in Georgia. Stop, pause, stop what you're doing. How in the Rudy Poo do you have Kyle Field in the top 5? It's not even remotely close to being in the top 5. Now, about a month ago when me and Joe went viral, I defended Kyle Field. You're not a top 5 stadium in college football. Sorry, you're not. I know it gets loud. The 12th man, you got all the cheerleaders out there. Hoo, hoo. I know it gets cultish. I'm with you. Not saying it's not in the top 10. It probably is in the top 10. It's not at number 1. 20 teams in the SEC have come into Kyle Field over the last decade plus and won football games against you. 20. 20 opponents have made their way to College Station and beaten you at home. So, no, nobody believes it's a tough venue. You beat Bama once. Congratulations to you. Congratulations in the 12-year span, you beat them twice. Now, it's up there with some of the other teams because not a lot of teams have wins over them. I'll give you that. It's not a top 10 or top 5 toughest places to play in the country. Now, well, of course, the LSU guy's going to come out here and defend Death Valley and Tiger Stadium. Guys, there is no place better. There is no place better to be on a Saturday night than in Tiger Stadium, Death Valley. Because when the sun goes down, or even before then at 2:30, the Pantheon in steel will be shaking all night, especially in a high-profile game. There is a reason that national reporters, people, even the greatest coach of all time has labeled Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, the toughest place to play. It's not even on another list. Now, I know that LSU fans have issues. They have off the field, literally, issues. Parking, traffic, venue. I get all that. When you get inside that stadium, like if you remember LSU in 2022 against Alabama, I highly encourage you to go to a video clip of that game in the fourth quarter. Guys, the stadium was literally shaking, and not only that, it registered on the Richter scale. When that place is packed the way that it needs to be, because everybody on this list deals with when you play a Rudy Poo opponent, you're not filling out every single seat. It's not an LSU thing. It's an everyday thing. Now, 11 a.m. game, hit or miss. It's going to be hit or miss in Baton Rouge at 11 a.m. on Saturday. You know who else knew that? ESPN. Because you only have, if you're an LSU fan or an LSU team, one 11 a.m. game, and that one's on the road. Everything else will be at 2:30 to 7 p.m. start Central Standard Time. And because of that is, they know the profit that they can make at night in Tiger Stadium in Death Valley. Guys, they've been doing it literally for the last decade plus. And now that they have all the rights to the SEC, they are going to put a team like LSU that sells at night. Guys, every single year. And this happened this year, actually. Did you know that every time a sport has broken a record, football, baseball, and women's basketball, the teams that have played in the game that's had the highest viewership has been LSU. The 3 highly watched college content. Men's basketball does not have as many eyeballs than women's basketball does at the current moment. LSU has been a part of all of that. It comes based off of, number one, being the environment and everything you get in the bayou at night in Death Valley. There is no better place. Now, I have a bias, and I understand that I have a bias. I'm cool with you thinking this guy is a Tiger dude. He's going to always be biased. I could make an argument if you put LSU at 2, you put LSU at 3, and you came to me and said, well, Blake, I mean, with all due respect, I mean, you've had some pretty bad losses at home. You know, Tennessee a couple of years ago. You had a lot under Ed Orgeron. I'd be like, okay, all right, fine. I get it. But nobody in their right mama can come out here and say that LSU doesn't need to be number 1. Here's my number 2. And I think this is going to shock people. If I had to pick a number 2, it would be Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I don't know what it is about that place, man. I think that maybe just the rivalry that LSU has had, but, man, teams that go in there, I'm battle for their lives, man. Battle for their lives. When Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, which even though they have not been right under Napier, they are still showing up. I think it's the second loudest place that I've ever been in my life. I think it's the second toughest place that I've been in my life. In the fourth quarter when Richard Petty comes on, brother, I'm just going to tell you, you will never see that many rednecks in overalls or jean shorts in your life in one place. It's like a convention. It is the Jort overall wearing convention. And if you can't get past that, you're going to have a pretty big problem, because those jorts with the hammer pocket on it is going to legitimately be rocking. There was one, though. There is one in this top 10 list that did not make EA Sports toughest places to play. Guys, Auburn and Jordan Hare. How in the Rudy Poo? How in the Rudy Poo is Jordan Hare not on the top 10 list? It might be tied with Florida as the toughest places or loudest places that I've ever been. Now, I understand being loud doesn't mean toughest. Man, you had Georgia and Alabama go into there last year in a first-year Hugh Freeze type of scenario and barely walked out alive. Let me say that again. With Peyton Thorne as Auburn's quarterback last year, the team that should have been in the playoff, Georgia, in my opinion, and a team that did win the SEC and did make a playoff, quite honestly, if we're going to boil it down to a lot of situations, one of them's one play away and the other one is 2 plays away from might not walking out of Jordan Hare alive with a win. And I will just tell you, dude, it's purely insane. Purely insane.